Georgia.
He's been a true freshman starter, Kirk, each of the last 3 championship games.
Steps into this game and has a game plan where they want to try to put stress on Alabama's defense by getting the ball thrown downfield, try to work vertically, horizontally, tough sledding in between the tackles against this Alabama defense.
Superb against Notre Dame in the semifinal at the Cotton Bowl. Looking to throw in the first play, and it's batted down. Tried to get it to Etienne in the flat, and Anfernee Jennings, who does that very well, got a long arm up.
He's one of the best in the country with the long arms to be able to knock the ball down. That's 11 this year. He's been able to get up, time it perfectly, and bat the ball down. By the way, if he didn't get his arm up, there is a lot of room to run there for Travis Etienne. They'll go back to that play.
And Christian Miller, the senior captain linebacker who injured that hamstring in the semifinal, not in the starting lineup. Can he contribute anything tonight? It's an option look on second down, and Etienne gets the pitch but does not get the edge. He's driven out hard by Mack Wilson and Xavier McKinney.
Alabama knows that Clemson in this scheme, they want to try to outflank you. They want to get the ball on the perimeter. You'll see a lot of quick passes. You'll see a lot of runs to the outside. Part of that, by the way, is to wear down the talented Alabama defensive line.
An early 3rd and 7 test for the freshman quarterback. Tide rush 4. And Lawrence tries to get it to Hunter Renfrow, who was well covered by the freshman Surtain, and Clemson goes 3 and out.
Good tight coverage from Alabama, trying to set a tone here early, establish some confidence with this defense, and they get the 3 and out. Good job also there, Chris, by the Clemson offensive line, giving Trevor Lawrence enough time. Just in that case, Hunter Renfrow unable to separate from the freshman Surtain. Great coverage.
Will Spires is the punter. Jalen Waddle, the fastest member of the Crimson Tide team, the freshman receiver, sets up at his 30. Special teams have played an enormous role in the previous 3 collisions between these teams. It's a good punt from Spires, and Waddle has to retreat and make it's Irv Smith, the tight end. Alabama gained 50 yards on a strike to Devontae Smith in the first play last week. A more modest goal here.
And don't forget, of course, when these 2 teams have gotten together. Remember O.J. Howard had those big games? I heard a lot of people this week saying that Irv Smith could be that guy. When you're looking for somebody maybe off the radar that could have a big performance, Irv Smith is definitely a guy that will get his chances. But there is a great deal to deal with for Clemson. It's not just one receiver. It's 4 or 5 they got to account for, including Smith at tight end.
After an 8-yard gain, another throw and a catch, and that is Devontae Smith, who made the game-winning catch from Tua in overtime last year, and they moved to 6 to the 41.
Now there's an example of the timing and accuracy by Tua. This ball is out, Chris. Watch this. You'll see this ball thrown before Devontae Smith turns. That's incredible. You can't defend that. I don't care who's out there. When you throw the ball on time like that, well before the receiver runs his route and even turns for the ball, impossible to stop.
Third throw in 3 plays. It's intercepted. And the Tigers are going the other way. A.J. Terrell with a pick 6. Tua is fooled, Kirk, and the Tigers made him pay.
Clemson brought a blitz, and I think Tua anticipated man-to-man. Isaiah Simmons comes on the blitz. Terrell comes off of his man, and Tua was not expecting that.
You know, turnovers are a rarity, and in title games are even more rare. 415 offensive snaps, just this interception, Kirk.
And Chris, let's go back and see the blitz from Isaiah Simmons here. Once he blitzes, you've got a man right here, man-to-man and man-to-man. Now, what fools him is that Terrell comes off of his man. His eyes are on the quarterback, and instead of staying here, he comes off towards Jerry Jeudy. So it showed man-to-man, jumped out of it, completely fooled Tua, which you just don't see. And in fact, he came to the sideline telling the fellas, hey, that one's on me, guys. That one's on me. Let's shake it and move forward.
Dabo Swinney was hoping for a fast start. He's got one. Damian Harris, senior running back, playing in his 8th playoff game, plows ahead for 3.
Motion, such a big part of the game early. We were on the field before the game talking with both sides. One of the things that stood out to us is that Dabo Swinney said, beyond talking X's and O's, he talked about the importance of a fast start for Clemson. Just kind of settle in, get themselves to believe that this is going to be another magical night for the Tigers. What a better way to start than a pick 6 by this defense of Brent Venables.
Second down run, and Harris has a crease and shows his strength as he spins free. They'll move the sticks, first down to the 38.
And every time Damian Harris picks up a run like that, it makes the Clemson defense, especially the safeties, have to respect that. They're going to start to come down and start to be aware of Damian Harris. And if you've watched Alabama this year with Tua, the RPO game has been lethal. We saw it against Oklahoma last year. And when you start to run the ball, safeties start to come down, that's when he'll pull it and throw it.
Josh Jacobs, who had a monster game against his home state Oklahoma team in the semis, spells Harris, but Tua's looking to throw. It's a downfield shot. Jerry Jeudy, the target. He's got it, and the time answer quickly. $62 for the Biletnikoff Award winner. That's how you shake off a pick 6.
No question. That's why Tua has such respect by his teammates. Watch in the back right here by the safety. He gets fooled on a double move by Jeudy. A move in and then by him. Tanner Muse came up, bit on the crossing route that he expected Jeudy to be going towards. He got completely turned around. The double move and attacking the Clemson safeties results a touchdown.
Ugly PATs for Bullivus. This is a nightmare matchup for Clemson. There's no way that big run support safety can guard this guy.
Watch him go into the post and then go by him.
Here's the boot to Kendrick. He again makes a fair catch. Well, football season is mayhem, and the All-State bus driven by Curtis Wilson. 3,000 miles this year. Over to Santa Clara. What's the All-State mayhem moment you want to highlight today?
Well, we got to talk about Clemson, part of the way that they were able to get here. Remember, they lost Kelly Bryant, left the team after Trevor Lawrence was named the starter. Here, a scare against Syracuse at home. 2:50 to go in the game, 4th and 6. And the backup, Chase Bryce, hits that to convert, keep their hopes alive. They go down to score with Travis Etienne and pull away 27-23.
13-play, 94-yard drive. They have been rolling since that close call. Bryce is ready if an emergency arises tonight. Clemson went 3 and out in their first series. Lawrence, pair of incompletions. And he airmails this one way over the head of a 6'4 receiver, Justin Ross. A little keyed up early.
Yeah, I mentioned RPO game earlier about Alabama. In college football, you see it in the NFL. It's a run-pass option, meaning that the quarterback will look at the defense, and depending on their coverage, if they're backed off, they're going to hand it off. Put the ball in the belly of the running back and hand it off. If they start to cheat or give you a throw outside, you throw it.
And there's the first completion. A flag comes in late. Justin Ross makes that catch. It's in the offensive line pit area.
Maybe on Quentin Williams. He kind of went, he dove low, and I don't know if they may get him on that or not. There was Travis Etienne in front of the quarterback, but he did submarine and went low on towards Trevor Lawrence.
Personal foul, tripping. Offense, number 74. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Mike Cannon, Big Ten official in charge of the crew here. John Simpson guilty of the penalty.
They're doing everything they can to slow him down. That's why Quentin Williams went low. John Simpson beaten with that quickness of Quentin Williams, a top defensive lineman in college football, maybe one of the best interior linemen we've seen in the last 5 or 10 years in this sport.
Game wrecker, isn't he?
Sure is.
Outland Trophy winner, so it negates Lawrence's first completion, makes it 2nd and 22. Ball back at the 12. And short completion as they get it to Trevion Thompson, the graduate, the old man of the receiving corps, along with Renfro.
There's an example of what we talked about, their run-pass option, where the coverage was 10 yards off the wide receiver Thompson, And Alabama knows that's exactly what Trevor Lawrence is looking at, so they're willing to give him that easy throw in a short game to now set up a 3rd and 14. Alabama, this is where they're known for getting after the quarterback.
As always, a tremendous 3rd down defense. Only a 3-man rush. Lawrence slips a shot downfield, and he has T. Higgins. Brought down inside the 20. Savion Smith saved a touchdown. The Tigers make their first big play.
This is a mental lapse by Alabama. Deontay Thompson using his eyes. He sinks in coverage. Does not get back. And Trevor Lawrence says, thank you very much. I'll split the seam between Smith on one side and Maiden on the other. Mental lapse there by Bama. Trevor Lawrence takes advantage on a 3rd and 14.
Each team with a 62-yard completion so far. ETN. Shows the explosiveness and still barreling into the end zone. Clemson back in front.
Hey, man, we said there were going to be some fireworks. I didn't expect this. We're not even 5 minutes into the game.
Well, big plays by the running backs have not been a feature for Clemson in the first 3 meetings. They have struggled, Kirk, to gain even 10 yards. ETN gives them a spark, though.
Yeah, he shows you the speed and then the power. Great block, good effort there by Amari Rodgers to be able to block Surtain. But a read there by Trevor Lawrence to give the ball frees up ETN.
With that drive all about the 3rd and 14 deep ball to T. Higgins that sets up Travis Etienne's 23rd rushing touchdown of the season. And Etienne, the 17-yard touchdown run. To his turn to answer, Kirk. And Jacobs will let it stay there. Etienne, born with speed, but look at the added strength this year.
Yeah, and look how they're using the ability to read the defensive end. This time it's Isaiah Buggs. Get the talented back on the outside, Etienne. Big blocks by the freshman Justin Ross. Also, you see Amari Rodgers downfield picking up a great block. And for a back to get to that next level and score, see the AT&T pylon cam, you've got to be able to get great blocks by the receivers, and they were able to do that to get ETN into the end zone.
Ran through the tackle attempted by Maiden and Shaheem Carter. Three of 4 start for Tagovailoa, but it's a first down carry for Jacobs. And they moved the pile 7 yards on first down.
Of course, Tua hit the big pass where he bounced back after the interception. What makes this offense so challenging to defend is the balance and how they can come at you in different ways. Brent Venables telling us we've got to take away the running game first. We've got to load up and take our chances and hope we can hold up man-to-man coverage on the back end.
2 tight ends set for the Tide. Play action pitch to Irv Smith. The tight end stopped right there. That was a terrific tackle by Kayvon Wallace, the safety.
And when I say Brent Venables says we got to hold up in man-to-man, I don't mean just trying to make interceptions. Here he is matched up right here with Irv Smith. I mean making plays like this out in space. Great job by Kayvon Wallace to be able to come up there against the bigger Irv Smith at 245 pounds and make this play in the open field. Goes down low, gets the left hand there on his ankle to bring him down.
Emma's first 3rd down play tonight. They need 4. Tigers show pressure and bring it. Blitz picked up. Tagovailoa gets it out and throws a strike. Paying a big price is Devontae Smith, hit by Terrell. First down, though.
Clemson brought the linebacker blitz. They didn't get there. How about Devontae Smith early on that route, jumping to the inside of Terrell. The big hit there by Turner, but it was the perfect route by Turner to get inside. And with the linebackers blitzing, it was a perfect throwing lane there for Tua to be able to make that throw. And with his accuracy, if you don't get to him, you're going to pay for it on the back end.
At 15 to convert on 3rd. No first down throw is slant. Smith again. That's the play that has given so many opponents, especially Oklahoma, trouble.
And so Brent Venables, first thing we said is obviously the Oklahoma game's on your mind. They did a lot of quick slants on them. How do you stop that? And he talked about leverage. Leverage meaning moving his people inside of those routes and taking away space, closing in a little bit tighter with those defensive backs instead of giving them all that space to work their routes.
And timeout taken.
Charge timeout. Clemson, they're first. It's going to be a 30-second timeout.
Venables animated with Javon Wallace.
What we talked about is eliminating that space, getting up tighter, closer to the line of scrimmage. He talked about how Tua has space to work with. He will completely pick you apart. And that's why they called this timeout, to remind them you can't back off, guys. You got to get up in tighter to try to disrupt that timing.
Dabo Swinney joining the huddle. Kind of good cop, bad cop there. Focus on what you're doing is what Dabo was saying. Tua looked very focused since that pick. You talk about Devontae Smith, Kirk, but he made that heroic catch to beat the Dogs. That was just his 9th catch last season. He has really emerged this season.
Yeah, and he's also healthy now. You know, he battled through a hamstring injury through about the middle of the year. The time off before the Orange Bowl really helped him get back to 100%, and we saw that. He had 6 catches and 104 yards and a touchdown against the Sooners.
Play action on first down. Tua steps up and throws across the middle. It is Smith, the tight end, busy. His 3rd catch already. He beats Wallace, and they're inside the 20.
Watch Irv Smith run his route right here. Watch how athletic he is for a big tight end. He's going up against an undersized Wallace who's trying to stay with him. He made that play a few plays earlier where he made the tackle. But I'll tell you, athletically, Irv Smith is a nightmare to match up with, because if you use a smaller guy, he can use his size, but in that case, he uses his quickness.
Tagovailoa pressured and just has to chuck it at the ground. Clelin Ferrell, ACC's Defensive Player of the Year, was in his face, and they're jawing about it.
Ferrell's fired up because he's going up against Jonah Williams. I'll tell you what, you want to watch a matchup, a game within the game? Watch this side over here. Jonah Williams, they say, could be a top 15 pick. Ferrell, if he decides to come out, could be a first-round pick. He won that battle. We will keep a close eye on that game within the game throughout the night. It's on the left side of the Alabama offensive line with 73 from Bama going up against 99. 2 All-Americans going head-to-head.
Burrow won the Ted Hendricks Award, best defensive end in the country. Najee Harris, it's a homecoming game for him, and he's got the football running right. And Harris, who's waited a long time and bided his time as part of this rotation, I think he's incredibly inspired tonight, playing just down the road from his Antioch, California home.
Boy, that was a big-time block by Wills on the right side, 74. Chris, he went underneath Austin Bryant, got him up in the air, and put him on his back. And that's what opened it up there for Najee Harris to have some room to run. That's sending a message by the right tackle.
2-back look now. 3rd and less than a yard. Harris, first down. Number 1 running back recruit in the country a couple of years ago. Hasn't gotten the touches he'd hoped for. You could almost see his frustration boiling over.
Yeah, I think throughout the year he's been a little anxious. And we all know in Tuscaloosa, when it comes to that position, they've had a pretty good string of backs, and when you're an underclassman, sometimes you got to sit behind Damian Harris and guys like Josh Jacobs. A lot of times they had to sit behind some very talented backs. He will more than likely be the feature guy next year, but you're right, he's back home. A lot of people here to see him play. You know he is fired up to have a chance to make big plays.
He's got it again. Hesitates, makes a cut, lowers the shoulders, stretches for the goal line. Touchdown! Harris in his homecoming game. See if he got the ball across before he hit the ground. Tremendous job to stretch out. I don't know.
Oh, regardless, what an effort. What an effort. He goes over. He just is able to extend that. Mullen, Trayvon Mullen, no, I think you're right, Chris. He's going to be a little bit short of the goal line.
Anything other than the hand and foot touches, he's down.
Looked like his right thigh.
Gives you a good look at it, yeah.
Watch his right thigh, where it touches, and then watch the ball.
There. Yeah, he's
the left thigh actually is down first.
So I believe that the Big Ten replay crew will reverse the call.
Ruling
but
on
you're
the
right
previous
about
play
the
was a
effort.
touchdown. The play is under further review.
You know, I just had a sense that they were going to give him a chance. He was going to be extra inspired tonight, Kirk. And you know, it's just up 680 to Antioch to the East Bay, and whether or not a touchdown counts, he's cranked up early.
You said on our bus before we came out, the last thing you said before we came out of the field was that's something to keep an eye on. And you're right about the energy and the passion of being back home and being a bit frustrated, and what better way for him to go out. Remember in the Georgia game last year in the championship, they gave him some opportunities and he stepped up and made some big-time runs.
Yeah, he had 64 yards rushing in that win over the Dogs. He was the leading rusher, and all of them came late.
I'll tell you one thing that I'm taking away, not only the great effort by Najee Harris, this is a really good look. Left leg down.
Dave Kataya is our rules expert here, Dave. It seems pretty clear-cut what they're looking for.
I agree with you, Chris. The rule is anything other than hand to foot, as you mentioned earlier, looks like that bottom leg is down and you can see the ball short. I have this as short in my opinion.
But again, you just celebrate the effort. The freeze frame, I think, will lead them to conclude the ball's about a football length away from the goal line.
I tell you, the thing that stood out to me on those sequence of plays is the right side of the Alabama offensive line really asserting themselves and getting a great push to give Najee Harris some room to run on about 3 or 4 plays.
After review, the runner was down at the half-yard line. The ball will be placed on the half-yard line. It will be second down and goal. The clock will start on the ready for play.
Well, a smile from Harris, even though his touchdown is taken off the board. He's done the hard work to put the Tide in position to get back even in this frenetic and incredibly fun first quarter. You mentioned you got to bide your time because there's so many talented backs. It's a far cry from when Derrick Henry, the Heisman winner, was the workhorse against the Tigers in that championship game. It's Damian Harris. They fake it to him. Tua rolling out and flips it to a wide open Hale Henches touchdown Tide. They got a lot of options on the goal line, don't they?
Yeah, they overloaded the right side. They put everybody on the right side. The tight end is lined up here because they overload the right side. He sneaks and ends up getting out in the flat. Wide open. Clemson not expecting that with a tackle overload that right side. Everybody's thinking you're going to run the football. Great time to come back with a play action look the other way.
Ooh, it's off the upright and no good. And Alabama has missed a PAT for the 9th time. They miss more PATs and field goals than any team in college football. So the freshman doinks it, and Clemson retains a 1-point lead. We're back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T.
Part of their game, it's a different deal this year. This was part of Trevor Lawrence emerging as the guy, is now you can make those throws downfield. And Alabama has to respect the vertical passing game, and when you have to respect the vertical passing game, it can open up the running game. They work hand in hand together in this system.
Yeah, Higgins' catch was incredibly the 22nd play of 50-plus yards by Clemson this season. They fake it to Etienne. Lawrence, good thrower on the run, but that's broken up beautifully by McKinney on the sidelines.
That is great quickness there by Xavier McKinney. Keep in mind, Alabama this year lost their top 6 defensive backs. They lost their defensive coordinator, Jeremy Pruitt, who became the head coach at Tennessee. They were basically starting over on the back end. And Tosh Lapoy and Nick Saban doing a very good job with this young, very talented group that just got better and better as the year has gone on.
They've targeted Renfro twice through incompletions. And now Etienne is going to be wrapped up and knocked down by big Quinton Williams and company for a loss.
Well, if you're going to pull linemen and you're dealing with 92, you better be prepared because he senses it and he's got quickness to be able to shoot through gaps. Look how he's able to get into the backfield. The combination of great strength and incredible first step quickness. But I also would throw on top of that his instincts. He sees the game like a linebacker.
Absolutely. He's an exercise science major. He says, I know the human body very well. I know all the little signs to look for on the offensive line. It's a complete skill set. On 3rd and 14. Does Lawrence have more magic? No. Incomplete. They've tried now 3 times to get to Renfro, who's got those 4 touchdowns against the Tide in his career. McKinney in coverage there.
The Clemson sidelines a little frustrated talking to the officials. Xavier McKinney getting physical there with Hunter Renfro, just kind of shoving him into the sideline before the ball is in the air.
It was Minkah Fitzpatrick who made it his mission a year ago in the semi to take away Hunter Renfro, and they did in large part. Caught 5 passes, but not big plays. Of course, he haunted the Tide in the 2 championship games. The game winner from Watson. So Bama to get the ball back down 1. Waddle standing at his 37. Spires rolls and kicks it rugby style short. And Waddle on the hop, a dangerous play in traffic, but it works as he scoots near midfield. Pretty bold.
Very bold.
Now tomorrow on ESPN, the first Super Tuesday College Hoops doubleheader of the year. Zion Williamson and the top-ranked basketball team in the country. Duke taking on Wake Forest at 7 Eastern. Duke just getting by Clemson the other night. Then the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack from Raleigh. Both games also on the ESPN app, so you can watch them anywhere.
Now, Bama's been running the football. Najee Harris in there. It's a good time for them to set up some shots and try to go downfield. Those safeties now aware of Harris in the running game.
And good call. They pitch it to Judy, who's going to be knocked out of bounds by Trayvon Mullen, but it's a first down to Maria Taylor.
Well, guys, Tua was getting a little bit of attention on the sideline. He came off complaining about some pain in his right hand, and they got some tape out and wrapped it up a little bit. Dr. Lyle King took a look at it. He's the same surgeon that performed his ankle surgery, and head football athletic trainer Jeff Allen before he went back out on the field.
Good thing he's a lefty. He's actually a natural righty, but his dad said, "Up, you're going to throw the football with your left hand." Worked out well. And Najee Harris in the secondary again. And the inspired Californian first down at the 26.
Yeah. Clean Pearl on a stunt came down, almost had a chance, but just got an arm on Najee Harris. You're not going to bring Najee Harris down with just an arm. Clemson likes to twist and slant and angle their D lineman, and that time 99 almost had a chance to come down and make a play, but unable to because of that power.
Tide running game is churning. 13 on that carry. Tigers crowd the line and bring the heat. It's picked up, and Tua delivers. Fingertip catch across the middle. Beautifully caught there by Judy. It's another first down.
The middle of this field right now is open. Bringing a blitz right here, and because of that blitz, look at the middle of that field and the effort here to be able to make that catch, fingertip catch by Jerry Judy, who won the Biletnikoff as that top receiver in the country. Both linebackers shot their gaps. Najee Harris picked up the blitz, and Tua had just enough time to get that ball thrown to Judy.
Since that interception, he's been almost flawless. Damian Harris running right. Gets downhill in a hurry, doesn't he? Inside the 10.
Tua goes to the line of scrimmage when they get down in this red zone. And if you're going to keep your safeties back, they're going to run the football, especially the way this offensive line right now is winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. They're almost forcing Clemson to bring Tanner Muse and Kayvon Wallace and Isaiah Simmons up into the box, which would create one-on-one coverage, which is exactly what Tua wants in the pass game.
Strength on strength. Tigers are a tremendous red zone defense. Tide very hard to stop down here. Damian Harris tried to go wide, had to cut it back very quickly as Trey Lamar was in his path. It'll be third down.
You know, Brent Venables will not go away from what his identity is, which is being attacking. They're an aggressive defense. They lead the nation in sacks, second in the nation in tackles for loss. They believe in trying to get to the other side of the line of scrimmage, which means you got to blitz those linebackers and safeties a lot. That time Trey Lamar had an impact on that play.
Need 3 on 3rd down. Ruggs in motion, but they hand it to Harris, who bumps into traffic. Actually ran into his blockers, and he's going to be just short, and it's a 4th down decision for Saban.
Well, you would think early in this game, great field position, kicking game, not the best. Got to think there's going to be a lot of scoring back and forth. By the way, Albert Huggins makes the play there. You talked about how he ran to the back of one of his own players. It's Albert Huggins holding the point there. Albert Huggins in for Dexter Lawrence.
Got big shoes to fill. His teammates confident he could step up and handle it.
This is where you got to shoot a gap, Chris. The only chance to stop him is you got to hit a gap with a blitz. Tua's out wide.
Yep. Jacobs in Wildcat formation. Low snap. And he will make the 1st down and fight to the 1. He had to show good hands to avoid a disastrous play.
He sure did. Bobbled it a little bit. Snap a little bit low. But a great athlete and great toughness. We've seen that throughout this year. You saw it last week in the Orange Bowl against Oklahoma. That 2nd and 3rd effort almost gets him to the end zone, and good effort there by Hale Henches to open that up.
Our Tigers spent a lot of practice time preparing for that, but it's so difficult to stop. Damian driving, but doesn't get there. Stopped at the half-yard line.
And it's a battle right now.
You got future NFL talent all over the place in that Bama offensive line. Jonah Williams, Hirschbaker, the guy making his 57th start. Leland Farrell. Wilkins in there, number 42.
They've been having a lot of success on the right side of the offensive line.
6 offensive linemen.
Tackle over again to the right side.
And a whistle. And a false start by the Tide. They tried to get a little tricky down there, and it cost them.
False start. Offense. 74. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Alex Leatherwood. Again, Kirk, so many options down close. They kind of outfoxed themselves against Oklahoma down here, didn't they?
Right. See the tight end right here? You got all the manpower over here with a tackle over. They put the tight end to the left. They threw the touchdown pass out of that formation earlier, but they clearly came up with a kind of a change-up, break a tendency or two, try to throw Clemson off with that formation they've used a couple times.
And there's the tape. Maria talked about Tua's right hand. He ripped that stuff off. 2nd and goal. It's his wide receiver screen to the speedy Henry Ruggs, but the sophomore knocked down at the 4 very nicely by Isaiah Simmons.
It's a good job by Clemson getting off of blocks. Isaiah Simmons. Also, you saw Kayvon Wallace getting off of that block. I thought he may have a chance to spring and get into the end zone, but not only good athletic ability on the back end, physicality to be able to get off the blocks. Big 3rd down here.
Seconds ticking away in a very entertaining opening quarter. So far, the missed PAT by Bulovas is the difference. 14-13, Clemson with the Tide threatening on 3rd and goal when we begin the 2nd quarter. Lawrence and Tua.
That's important. Clemson wants to try to tire Alabama out. They need a lot more plays and a lot more time of possession.
Damian Harris is the back. It's Ruggs in motion. Tua rolling. Shovel pass, and the Tigers sniffed it out. Austin Bryant drops Harris for a loss. And here comes the field goal team.
Now that's having a man-on-a-man. Trey Lamar on the blitz takes the quarterback, and you'll see Austin Bryant right here settle and make the play on Damian Harris. See the late blitz there? They disguised it. Trey Lamar takes Tua. They tried to catch Clemson napping, but this is where the experience and the veterans up front for Clemson pay off. Great job by Austin Bryant, the senior.
So Bulovas, who had the PAT miss, out for the field goal, hasn't missed since mid-October. Has been automatic inside of 40, and nothing feels automatic tonight. You slide that one in.
Automatic.
Tide stopped at the doorstep. We talked about how tough it is to score on Clemson down there in the red zone. But the false start penalty, Kirk, when Bama was getting a little cute down there, ends up costing them 4 points.
Yeah, it ended up costing them, but it also worked for them, though, that same formation when they went with the play action. This game now, it's just you settle in, you got a quarter behind you, and now you got to go out and execute. If you think about Clemson and their numbers, they hit that 62-yard pass. Other than that, look, 86 yards total offense, 2 3-and-outs. And Lawrence right now is not able to really have a chance to get things going. Long way to go. But for them, I think a big part of it was very similar to Deshaun Watson when they beat him. They ran 99 plays. Everybody talked about how Alabama tired out in the second half. But when you run 10 plays in a quarter, that's not going to do it.
We knew it'd be a lot different than last year, Kirk. Bama gained a total of 264 against the Tigers in the semifinal win. So
very different approach.
224 in the first quarter.
Yep.
So that was a victory for the Tigers' goal line defense. And Bulovas with another mistake. It's an ugly kick, and Clemson will take over at the 35-yard line. It's a rough start for the kicker. Now it's time to go from plan to play, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual and the incredible accomplishments of two of the most successful senior classes in FBS history. Bama #1. If Clemson can win tonight, each class would finish their careers with 55 wins and 2 national championships.
Incredible. Incredible accomplishments. Clemson's case, the defensive linemen, many thought last year they would head off to the NFL. Instead, collectively, they decided to come back and try to chase a championship. And what more can you say about Nick Saban? Seems like every senior class you talk about is breaking some kind of record from the previous class the year before them.
Both coaches said, we're going to be better next year. So look out, world. Neither team going anywhere. Tavian Feaster is the back now, but Lawrence is looking to throw the ball, and a flag comes in.
Yeah.
That was Savion Smith defending on Higgins.
Right. Got very handsy there by Savion Smith. It's a good matchup back into the boundary with T. Higgins, who has great size at 6'4".
Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
You see his leverage initially. He kind of jumped to the outside. He wanted to take away that outside in case he's going to run that deep ball. He was going to be stride for stride. And then he cuts out, and that's when he grabbed onto the jersey. Good call by the official.
Last possession, Dabo lobbied for the call. Time he gets it.
By the way, look at Alabama's coverage. Look how tight they are. Almost daring Trevor Lawrence to throw behind him. Now they back off up top.
Feaster in the flat. Gets a block. Gets another block. And spins down inside the 25 as the junior from South Carolina makes a big play.
Alabama plays a lot of man-to-man. Mac Wilson matched up with Feaster, trying to get out there, but the block right there and a good move by Feaster. There's no one else left to make the tackle other than Mac Wilson.
Playing with some tempo after the big gain, and Lawrence, he's a willing runner. He takes a big shot right there, hit by Dylan Moses.
And that's Trevor Lawrence's been approach all year. Clemson at times will kind of lull you to sleep because they struggle. They struggle, and then they hit that big play, and that's what they're going to have to do. There's Mac Wilson and those 2 linebackers, Dylan Moses, making a play for a short gain for Clemson.
Excuse me, it was Moses down low, and that could have been called for a helmet-to-helmet targeting. It wasn't. Just a 1-yard gain, and he paid the price. Now, Feaster weaves his way through heavy traffic inside the 20. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Much like the other side of the ball, we were talking at the break. Which defense can make a difference? Which defense can get into the backfield? See Alabama now. You see Quinnen Williams in the middle, hands on his hips. Isaiah Buggs, hands on his hips. Not a lot of depth up front with that Alabama defensive line. In fact, you will not see them rotate hardly anybody tonight. And those longer drives become tougher for the big boys up front.
Lawrence needing 5, has time, backpedals, and fires to Higgins across the middle. First down, and a 1st and goal down near the 5.
Some confusion here. Alabama's playing man-to-man on one side, but watch this matchup right here. Savion Smith kind of gives up on it. He's confused. Everybody else is covering their man-to-man. Savion Smith started to, and then he kind of looked around, watching, am I in zone, am I in man? He lets T. Higgins go, and good recognition there by Trevor Lawrence to find him and make the throw for the first down.
Tigers' turn to try to convert in the red zone. Etienne. Fights down near the goal line. They tried to push him from behind. The O-lineman helping him along. He's just short.
You talk about how he's changed from last year as a true freshman who was just fast to who he is this year. Look at his toughness. Look at the strength that he has in his lower body. Travis Etienne is no longer just one of the most explosive backs. He is now a power back. He ran right in to the middle linebacker, Mac Wilson.
Tigers make a statement as Etienne walks in, stretching the lead. Six plays, 65 yards.
It's more like Clemson right there. They got to be happy with that drive. And Travis Etienne, he is not, if anything, he's accelerating through that hole. It's a good job on the left side of that offensive line, opening things up and making it easy for him to get into the end zone.
Big Justin Falcinelli, the graduate, excellent scholar athlete, the center making a block there. Back and forth. Clemson's offense scored, and it's a touchback.
Well, while we're focused a lot on Tua in the passing game, he's 12 of 14. I think it's being started because of the way they can run the ball. Look at this offensive line tonight, doing a really good job. They're averaging 5.6 yards a carry. Watch this on the far right. Boom! What a block there to open it up by Wills against Austin Bryant. And when you can get up to the linebackers against this attacking defense, and you can be a threat as a team that can run the ball, that opens up the playbook for Mike Locksley and how Tua can attack, because the safeties and linebackers have to respect the ability to run the football.
Locksley, of course, part of that coordinator carousel under Saban, off to Maryland as the head coach next season. Jacobs makes a man miss. A little stutter step in the hole as he got past Kendall Joseph. Or, excuse me, Nolan Turner there in the missed tackle. Sam Rinaldi.
Chris, to pick up on what Kirk said, keep an eye on the defensive fatigue already setting in on that Clemson front. Nearly every lineman sitting down and drawing oxygen in the second quarter after the last series, coming off the field, being encouraged, don't stand up, continue to rest. Time of possession needs to swing here a little more in favor of Clemson.
2 points on the 28th play tonight, and Bama has run a far cry from the dominant performance against Notre Dame in the semifinal. They were well rested in that game. And it's Jacobs who's cut down after a short gain. It'll be third and about 1.5 yards.
That's a nice job by Nolan Turner coming down to fill in. Alabama just keeps rotating backs. We've seen Najee Harris, Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs. Allows them to stay fresh.
They're playing fast on this third down, but Jacobs is not going to get there. Good penetration by that Tigers defensive front, including backup Niles Pinckney helping out Cleveland Farrell. It's fourth down.
Yeah, they do a nice job in the inside, but Chris, look on the outside. They're coming around with a true freshman. Xavier Thomas does a good job of getting in there too. Saban, he's decided, wow, this is interesting. Nick Saban sensing the feel of the game in his own 35, going for it here, at least initially looking like he was going to go for this.
This is out of respect for Clemson's offense for sure, and his own defensive struggles in mind. Jacobs, a fourth down gamble by Saban, and it pays off as Jacobs has to earn the first down. How about that call, partner?
If you haven't watched a lot of college football this year and you tuned into the national championship, that should tell you where the sport is in 2019. That Nick Saban is going for it on fourth down and about 6 inches from his own 35-yard line. That's like Bill Belichick doing that from his own 35-yard line.
J.D. Davis had him, but Jacob broke that tackle. And Jacobs, big man, last week against the Sooners, running hard for 8 more.
And that's one of those decisions. If they end up going down and scoring, you put an asterisk by and remember that decision by Nick Saban.
Remember the onside kick when he felt like his defense couldn't stop the Tigers?
Absolutely. And he already, I think, is sensing here with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, this is going to be one of those games. It's a back and forth. Every possession counts, and he's confident in his guys to pick up that first down, even though it was deep in his own territory.
An offensive line can feed off of that when the coach shows faith in you. Jacobs makes a nice cut. Another cut, slipped down at the 44, but Josh running hard. Terrell, who had the pick six, he whiffed on this one.
Travis Etienne, I've said before, could be the most talented back in the country. You can make a really strong case for Josh Jacobs being in that discussion too. They are loaded in this backfield in Tuscaloosa. Look at the moves, the change of direction, low center of gravity. He is a complete back and will be playing on Sundays for a long, long time.
He was not a heavily touted recruit out of Oklahoma when the Tide signed him. Tua looking to throw and first down. Launches it for Judy, but it's picked off. The second interception. This is Trayvon Mullen. And Mullen getting some blocks and still going. Tight roping out near midfield as Tua is picked off for the second time.
You know, he has such confidence in his ability that sometimes I think he has such confidence that he thinks his guys are going to make a play. The safety this time fools him. Wallace was sitting on the hash. He thought he had man-to-man. Instead, Mullen drops back. He threw the ball before he even looked at the coverage. He anticipated the coverage. He didn't read the coverage. And because of that, he just threw it thinking his man's going to make a play. And instead, Clemson baits him and picks him off for the second time.
And Deshaun Watson, honorary captain tonight. He split his two appearances as the Tigers quarterback against the Tide. He likes that one.
Now, does Dabo Swinney, Jeff Scott, Tony Elliott, do they go after Alabama right away? Do they look for a big play here?
Etienne wrestled down by Quentin Williams after a short gain. History suggests at this point of the field, with a 5-point lead, they might take a risk.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a quick change and you have a chance to get a big return, you're in plus territory. Why not take a chance if they give you the right coverage? Trevor Lawrence has the arm. He's got receivers that can make plays on both sides.
He's got Justin Ross against Surtain, who was picked on earlier and picked on frequently by Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl, to the right of the formation. Lawrence is looking in the other direction, and a low throw. Renfro goes down and makes the catch, so it's 43 straight games with a catch for the man who's finally concluding his Tigers career tonight.
A great job of getting his hands down low. You see the nose of the ball down. That's a tough ball to catch. But if anybody can come up with it, it's Hunter Renfro, who's had a great career when he's had chances to go up against Alabama. And that gives him a much better chance here now on 3rd and 2.
24th career catch by Renfro against the Crimson Tide. Lawrence trying to throw for it, and it's Renfro again. He's such a reliable weapon on 3rd down. They move the 6 inside the 35.
Dylan Moses looked confused there based on him seeing trips into the sideline. He's looking around at the defense, even to the sideline, wondering what he should do. And Trevor Lawrence ends up throwing the ball right there.
Lawrence across the middle, broken up beautifully. Getting a hand out there was Surtain, the long-arm freshman from Plantation, Florida.
Go back to that previous play. It's been something that's bothered Alabama a lot this year. As you see the motion, watch Dylan Moses. See him looking around, wants to make sure everybody's on the same page. He's looking to the sideline, ball is snapped, bang, they go right there, take advantage of that confusion. They're giving them different formations, making them adjust, making Alabama's defense have to communicate.
Starting guard John Simpson had his helmet taken off. He's out for the play. Tavian Feaster is the back on 2nd and 10. And they try to get it to him in the flat. Ball tipped up in the air. He makes the catch on the carom. Jennings again got his arm on it.
Man, how about that play? Unorthodox, but a heck of a play by Jennings with the left hand. The backhand goes up in the air. He's thinking about trying to make the play, but Feaster stays focused on the ball before Bugs or anybody else can come up with an interception. But great awareness again by Anthony Jennings.
Man who missed the national championship game a year ago with a Grizzly knee injury. Missed all the playoff games. 3rd and 7. Tide try to heat up the pocket. But it's a catch across the middle by Amari Rogers. And he's wrestled down inside the 5. The first catch for Rodgers.
Boy, I love how Trevor Lawrence climbs the pocket against this defense. Watch him climb up into the pocket and then throw an absolute rope to Amari Rodgers. Great technique there by the true freshman quarterback, showing poise on that third down for Clemson.
25-yard gain. Can the Tigers muscle it in for a second time with a 1st and goal? It's Etienne again, this time nothing doing. Deontay Thompson, the safety, came around the corner.
I would think that Clemson's offensive staff upstairs, up here at our view, looking down. Keep in mind, Trevor Lawrence is an athletic quarterback. 6'6", 215. He's not run the ball yet tonight. But down here, the fact that Alabama's not respecting him in that run game, wouldn't be afraid to put that zone read and pull it and keep it.
Has just the 1 touchdown run this season. It's a shovel pass in the middle, and battling his way to the end zone, Etienne for a second time. Tigers on fire.
Go back to the interception. Trevor Mullen makes the interception. Lawrence gets the ball back. 8 plays, 47 yards, and a chance to come up with a touchdown. And what a call by Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott. Jennings tried to rip at that ball, but there's the strength by Etienne to hold on to it.
And this Tide defense getting gashed. You go back to the Orange Bowl, Oklahoma scored 6 of their last 7 possessions. The one they didn't score, Kyler Murray ran out of time. And the Tigers are feasting early on tonight.
Exactly, and here's that interception by Trayvon Mullen. Makes the big play. 2nd interception of the night for this 14 of Clemson's 28 points.
2 rushing touchdowns for Etienne and 1 receiving. So the hat trick for the talented young tailback.
And he was fooled. Clemson showed cover 2. He thought he had a space about where that 30 is. Instead, look at the corner dropping. The corner drops when he thought the corner would stay up tight, sitting in that flat area. 2nd time, Brent Venables shows 1 look, goes to another after the snap, mixing up those coverages and fooled Tua for the 2nd time.
Harris, Najee Harris makes a cut, and it's a 1st down. Not just picks by Terrell and Mullen, but a lot of action after the pick. Returns of 44 for a touchdown and 46 to set up the touchdown drive.
Yeah, great point. As we said, 14 points on both those interceptions. You look at the score right now, 28-16. That has a lot to do with Clemson's lead. But this is what makes Tua Tua. You would expect him to stay poised and continue to play at the level he's played all year.
Najee Harris tries to bounce it, but he cannot escape the rangy safety, Isaiah Simmons.
Trey Lamar makes the play right here, and it forces Harris to have to bounce. They continue to blitz these linebackers. He gets penetration, and because of that penetration, it forces Najee Harris out wide, and there's Isaiah Simmons, an outside linebacker / nickel, who's a great player at 6'2", 230 pounds.
Yeah, I call him a safety. He's actually a backer, but he can play anywhere. Top tackler on this defense. Now it's 2nd and 14. A run to Najee Harris. And he's hammered down at the 45. It sets up a 3rd and 6.
I always wonder what goes into Mike Loxley and the offensive staff. You know, you got 3 great backs in Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, and they continue to kind of rotate him, try to go with the hot hands. Mike Loxley is he's a beneficiary this year of great offensive skill, but a great offensive mind. As you said, Chris, headed to Maryland. It's a big 3rd down for him.
Tide 2 for 5 so far on 3rd. Need 6. Clemson crowding the line, but they back out. Now late pressure, and Tagovailoa is hammered. Trayvon Mullen, who just had the pick, gets home on a blitz. Tua slow to get up.
Chris, they disguise this. Mullen blitz. He's looking right. Najee Harris to the top left. He's jumping up and down, wanting the ball. So their answer to that blitz is immediately throw the ball right there. Right now, if you recognize it, he never saw it. And this is a quarterback that hasn't made mistakes like this. So it's partly Tua, but also it's Brent Venables in this Clemson defense that's creating these opportunities. They're fooling him right now.
So it's Lawrence and the Tigers back to work. Etienne, 3 touchdowns already to his left. 2:04 before halftime. Bama will get the football to begin the second half. Lawrence from the pocket. Long throw. You see the arm strength. That's Trevion Thompson out near the 40.
2 things. Number 1, recognizes it's cover 2, goes right over top of Smith, the corner who's sitting up close, up in the flat. He goes right over top of him, showing that arm strength, and in front of the safety, and puts it there to the senior Thompson.
He's played more games at wide receiver than any Tiger ever. Good protection in the pocket. Another long throw, but it's too long. It's into the Alabama bench.
I want you to keep in mind in this first half, this kid, Trevor Lawrence, is a true freshman. Look at the composure. Yeah, he's 6'6", 215, ridiculous physical skills. This is what he did at Cartersville High School. Had an incredible career. He started 4 years. And I think that experience, imagine starting as a 14-year-old in a high school, the pressure of Georgia high school football, I think those experiences at Cartersville allowed him to step in as a true freshman. And the game is not too big for him.
Turned 19-year-old in October.
He's eight of his last 10 now.
Looks like he's born to do this. When they added the lead before halftime, well, time was running now. There was a rare moment of confusion, and Lawrence calls a timeout. Lawrence family nurturing him, Amanda and Jeremy, not applying heavy pressure. They were tough on him, and they were tough on him in school, tough on him as an athlete, but he was grateful for that. He told me that helped forge him as a person and a player. And he has arrived at Clemson ahead of even where Deshaun Watson was when he arrived.
You know, I just look at that position around college football anymore, and I think the development with the quarterback coaches, the pressure that these guys are under with the Elite 11 programs, they travel all over the country, they're in camps. He had a great high school coach at Joey King at Cartersville High School. They've got a great relationship, and Joey King worked hard with him on understanding formations and coverages, and they would tell you that had as much to do with his development and showing up at Clemson ready to play as much as anything.
Graduate student Adam Choice is the back on this 2nd and 10. And Lawrence stands and fires, and this Tide defense doesn't know what to do. There's a hit out of bounds by McKinney on Justin Ross. This should add 15 yards to the play.
There's that frustration. We saw a little bit of that when we went to a break. McKinney and one of his teammates, Shaheem Carter, kind of going over maybe a previous possession on the sideline, kind of just
dead ball,
competitively.
Personal foul, they hit out of bounds. Defense number 15. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You see Saban and Tosh LaPoy's defense, they're rattled right now.
I think we talked about some of the emotion carrying over now in the field. He's frustrated that Ross, another freshman, beat him and clearly hits him late, and they throw another 15 on in the back end of that play.
You mentioned how McKinney was so animated, so angry in the previous timeout of this game, and he's got to calm himself down. Choice is the back. Ball moved to the 33. Tide jumped offside. Lawrence has got a free play. Fires for Renfro. It's incomplete. He couldn't fight back to it. Lawrence knew that Bama had jumped offside.
Yeah, Bama trying to disguise their blitz and ended up jumping. Good job by
Offside.
Trevor Lawrence to wait.
Defense number 33. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You're right. He had that free play. He knew he had the free play. Waited as long as he could and tried to time it up to Hunter Renfro.
It's the second time in 2 plays. LaPoy's pointed to his head. Think out there, guys.
Right.
Clemson trying to add to a 12-point lead before halftime.
Remember, Alabama deferred. They get the ball to start the second half.
Lawrence, strike across the middle, and that's Justin Ross, #1 player out of Alabama. last year.
Yeah, a great high school player from the state of Alabama. Everybody thought he would stay and play for Alabama. Instead, goes to Clemson, fell in love with the culture, has had an amazing true freshman year. You got a true freshman throwing to a true freshman, making big plays in a national championship.
Tigers back in the red zone again. Choice wrestled down by Quinnen Williams. That big bear of a defensive tackle making a play.
Boy, he went right through a double team by Clemson. Watch him with his athletic ability right here. You got two Clemson offensive linemen, and you better be careful leaving him. Bostonelli said, okay, I'm going to leave it there to Cervenka to be able to take that. You better stay on the big fella.
Cervenka, the strongest player on the Clemson team, wasn't enough that time. Talking about a dude who squats 665, benches 515, and Quinnen Williams just overpowered him on that play.
When Quinnen Williams leaves the field, Clemson has to get excited that 92's on the sideline trying to catch his breath.
The absence of Christian Miller, the linebacker of the leader, has loomed large so far, I'd say, in the first half.
What they've done is Dylan Moses, who's right here, has basically been playing defensive end in certain situations like third downs, just to give them another pass rusher on the opposite side of Jennings.
Need 12 on this third down. Play clock at 3. Lawrence has a man in the flat, but the pressure was too much, and it's incomplete. Jennings got there in a hurry, couldn't get the ball to Choice.
That was a very similar blitz that Tua missed, and he didn't even see it, and that's where they ended up sacking him in that last sequence of plays. This time, Trevor Lawrence looks right. He feels it, sees it. He tries this time at least to get the ball dumped off to the back. Choice, and by the way, if he throws that accurately, Choice picks up the first down and maybe gets to the end zone.
The Tigers stall in the red zone for the first time, so a 36-yard field goal attempt from Greg Hugel, the senior, kicking in his third national championship game, 10 of 15 this season. And career field goal number 54. And the Tigers move it 61 yards quickly and add to the lead. A 15-point margin, 45 seconds before halftime. Goodyear providing aerial coverage to celebrate the 64-year legacy in the sport. The College Football Hall of Fame down in Atlanta will induct the blimp as an honorary member of the 2019 class. Goodyear more driven. It's the first non-coach player.
Non-player. It's a huge honor. That was a big stop by Alabama. You know, they have 45 seconds left. They have 3 timeouts. Tua has not been in sync. Let's see what Alabama decides to do. But if they give up a touchdown there, obviously it's a totally different deficit that they're dealing with, potentially going in at halftime. So the defense steps up, only allows the field goal by Clemson.
Largest deficit of the season Bama has faced. Still a 2-score game thanks to that stop there. What do you think Saban and Mike Locksley would like to do with the last 45 seconds? They have all 3
with
timeouts.
Timeouts, Tua, you still have to have confidence. He's the guy who got you to this point. You got to be aggressive. You got to attack, at least try to get in the field goal range.
We'll begin at the 25. Well, Saturday, January 19th, NBA doubleheader action over on ABC. Thunder and the Sixers. NBA Saturday Special Edition, 3:30 Eastern. And in primetime, the Lakers and the Rockets in Houston. Both games also on the ESPN app.
Remember, we've seen a theme of Brent Venables mixing up coverages, changing up looks, bringing blitzes late, showing one coverage before the snap, jumping to another coverage after the snap. It's caused some problems. Does he continue to be aggressive or get a little bit more conservative here as a defense?
3-man rush, and it's off the hands of Damian Harris, and nothing going right for the Tide. That's a sure-handed running back usually.
Usually he holds on to this. Clemson will give this up all day. It's in the middle of the field, force Alabama to have to use a timeout.
per carry. They'll get the football to begin the third quarter.
And I think you got to go back to that. I mean, there's so much more time left in this game. Long way to go. You don't need to just all of a sudden put more on Tua. Tua right now is still trying to settle into Brent Venables' scheme and how he's attacking Alabama's offense. I think it's more about, hey, let's get back to running the ball. That big offensive line was doing a really good job. You mentioned they're almost averaging 7 yards a carry. Then it's a combination of Tua and the running game.
So Tua, at this point a year ago, was brought in cold with no meaningful snaps in his career, and he was brilliant, especially in the fourth quarter and overtime. And he brings the Tide back again. Brent Venables' defense, they've given up 266, but they've made some big plays by confusing the quarterback. Take a look at AT&T giving their best.
And go back to this first half, and if you're just tuning in, 31-16 Clemson, and we've seen some rare miscues from Tua. Throwing an interception, Alabama here had the ball almost inside the 1 yard line, unable to get a touchdown. Here another interception because he's confused by the coverage. A late blitz caught him off guard instead of dumping it off to Najee Harris. So Brent Venables with a heck of a plan in getting ready for this game against Bama. First half goes to Venables and the defense, but still 30 minutes of football to go.
Damian Harris breaks the tackle and barrels forward as they do stick with that productive running game. Quick first down.
Yeah, absolutely. Clemson's going to blitz their linebackers. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of approach. It worked out for them in many cases. But if Alabama can pick those blitzes up, there's a lot of room to run for these running backs, and it's a great way to start this second half for Mike Locksley and his Bama offense.
Damian Harris again gets the edge, and they are getting chunks of yardage as the Tide in 2 plays have moved into Tiger territory.
Clemson unable to set the edge, unable to get to the outside. Jonah Williams with clean furrow that time, unable to kind of get that right arm free to get upfield and prevent Damian Harris from getting around him. And just like that, a couple big plays, and that's 26 yards on the ground for Bama.
They fake it to Harris. Tua pitches it far side. And catch is made by Smith. A flag is down. Back in the offensive pit.
Jonah Williams was downfield. I don't know if they caught him. He was almost 8 or 10 yards downfield.
Little bit of John. Christian Wilkins pointing across at the
receiver
Bama
downfield.
offensive line.
Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Good call. Williams, one of the 6 Californians on the roster from the northern part of the state in Folsom.
Anytime you see a lineman getting downfield, it tells you again that they're trying to run the ball with that run-pass option. The defense gave him the throw look, so he pulled it out and tried to throw it.
I thought it was a false start penalty down near the goal line. They really began to turn momentum against Alabama. Had to settle for 3. It was a turning point. So on 1st and 15, Tua rolls and flips it short. Smith again, stutter steps, dodges a tackler. This is not a regular tight end. He's very athletic and good in space.
Yeah, you see what happens when you start running the football? You give him this look, and this defense starts flying, and then Tua is able to pull it and go the other way. Watch the white jerseys flying to go get Damian Harris. Nice and easy. He's able to throw in rhythm. Good play call.
Looking to throw again. Can he escape? Just fires it into the turf. Tigers looking for intentional grounding as Wilkins was pressuring the quarterback along with Austin Bryant. It's getting a little salty down there.
That's the beauty of having 4 that can rush the quarterback. You don't need to always blitz. Christian Wilkins in the middle, 42. You can see Austin Bryant, who's able to get by his man. He goes down, but Wilkins doesn't give up on the play. And because they rushed 4, they had 7 back in coverage, playing zone, nowhere for Tua to go with the ball. So that was a coverage sack as much as anything. Once again, Jacobs in the Wildcat formation. They need less than a yard
on third down. I think like they got 2 plays to get it, right? He's already shown Saban he's going to gamble. Went for it on fourth down in their own end. The spot's going to be real close to the marker at the 39. Now they've spotted the ball a little bit short.
Yeah, it sure looks like it.
So if he went for it in the first half in his own end, bigger deficit now. Clemson territory, figure this is an easy decision.
Oh, sure.
But does he keep Jacobs in there with the predictable Wildcat runs?
Keep in mind, when you have a Christian Wilkins in the middle of that defense, and you've got linebackers blitzing, it's not an automatic, even if this ends up being short of the first down.
Christian Wilkins, winner of the Campbell Trophy, top scholar athlete in the country. He's had a 3.0 in every semester of his college career. Just enjoying his final game as a Tiger out there, and they're about 3 inches short. Converted twice already on fourth down.
Wilkins, Dabo Swinney talking about the leadership on this team. It's not 1 or 2 guys. He said it's an entire group of players this year that's helped keep this Clemson team focused. But without a doubt, Wilkins is kind of at the front of that leadership.
Big moment early in the second half here. 4th and inches. Jacobs is in Wildcat formation. Smith and Damian Harris in the backfield. Straight ahead. After a little bit of a dance, that's just strength. It was second effort as he gets through the tackle of Skalski, and it's a first down.
Well, Christian Wilkins almost got through there. It looked like you would think he would go here, but instead he tries to fool him and shoot the other gap and almost got the penetration. You see he got his right arm in there.
That's a great look.
It's a great look and a great effort by Josh Jacobs, who was met right at the line of scrimmage, and I think that extra effort got him the first down.
Not easy to escape the grasp of Wilkins, who's strong and also very quick. Tagovailoa has to avoid pressure and delivers off the hands of Smith there. He got near the quarterback that time.
And that offensive line's having a hard time with this pass rush. Clinton Ferrell gets in there with a twist, makes Tua have to step up, but he still gets the ball thrown accurately. And the ball had a lot on it. Devontae Smith, ball went right through his hands. That's a first down.
That's second easy drop by a tied receiver. Damian Harris had one in the first half. 4-receiver look. And a handoff to Harris, who builds momentum very quickly and runs downhill for 9.
Running, continue to go back to that running game and mixing in the backs. Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs. We've seen Najee Harris. We keep talking about how Clemson's offense wants to wear down Alabama's defense. The same can be said in this kind of game with Alabama's offense and what they're trying to do. If you look at time of possession, a huge advantage right now for Alabama.
Tua split out wide left again, and Jacobs one more time on 3rd and 1 in Wildcat formation. Did he run a wrinkle off this or just straight run? Now it's predictable, but it's very hard to stop as Jacobs moves the chains to the 26.
And you know it's coming and you can't stop it. I mean, he is really dangerous as a runner taking that direct snap.
Think about Damian Harris is a rarity these days. He's an elite senior running back. Had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons as a sophomore and a junior. Stats down a little bit this year. Looking to throw in first down. Pressure picked up, and Smith underneath tackled immediately after the catch by Mullen.
Boy, Tua's feeling that pressure. I mean, he's doing a good job of keeping his eyes downfield, but on that last throw, he's falling backwards because of the blitz by Kendall Joseph. So even when they're not getting to him, he's still not in rhythm. He's still falling back and throwing away from his throw.
2nd and 6. As time, this time, it's one of those crossing routes. They're tough to stop. Smith made the catch. They've ruled it a fumble. He recovers it. It's Terrell, who's limping off, who made the tackle. Let's take another look and see if he was down.
Yeah, bang bang play here. It's just a matter, was it bobbling it before he went down? Well, you see the right knee. I mean, that's almost simultaneous there. The ball coming out when that right knee touched. Right knee. Boy, they're going to have to. They're definitely going to have to stop this and take a peek.
Makes a difference just a couple of yards. It is a third down play, and again, Mullen not in the game. Looks like that Big Ten crew did buzz down to take a look.
The previous play was the runner fumbled the ball before he was down. The play is under further review.
So Mullen, who had the pick earlier, being looked at. Now an exclusive look at Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel in theaters everywhere on March 8th. Fifth year for the College Football Playoff National Championship Trophy, which replaced the old crystal ball. Weighs about 50 pounds. And the Tigers trying to wrestle control at the top back from Alabama.
They did review that play while we were gone, confirmed that it was a fumble. So Bama ends up losing about 3 yards now to try to convert. Well, you got to think it's 4-down territory, but it does push them back 3 yards.
Tied 3 for 8 so far in third down. Damian Harris is the back. Tua looking to throw. Stands and fires across the middle, broken up nicely by Mark Fields. Bama fans down in this end screaming about a flag. There isn't one, and it's fourth down.
Well, Fields is undersized at 5'10", going up against Irv Smith at 6'4". There was some contact late. Let's see if he gets in and affects him with that. You know, I don't know if that was necessarily, it looked a lot worse than it really was. That right arm started to come around, but ultimately did not do enough, I think, to make the official think that was interference.
Ooh, I don't know, Coach. Where is it split decision up here on that one?
All right.
The officials agree.
I'm always for the receiver, but I didn't think he grabbed that shoulder. I thought he placed his hand on it, but I don't think he grabbed it.
Clemson alert for a fake. Bulovas from 40 yards, and it is a fake. And taking off is Mac Jones, the backup quarterback, and it's snuffed out. Niles Pinckney made the stop. And the Tigers were thinking what we were thinking. It didn't feel right, a field goal attempt.
I mean, that was fourth down and a long way to go.
Need 6.
Yeah, I mean, that had no chance of making it. I'm surprised if Jones is, they're going to fake it. I thought he would throw the ball. They had no chance. Clemson ready for it, but yeah. Jones not the fastest runner.
Kicker as the lead blocker didn't work at all.
The College Football Playoff National Championship Game, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu. Value beyond belief. And new NyQuil Severe with Vicks VapoCool. Vaporize your cold.
Saban's pursuit of national title number 7. 6th at Bama in danger. Clemson takes over after that ineffective fake field goal. Goodyear providing aerial coverage. College Football Hall of Fame proud to announce the Goodyear blimp as an honorary member of the 2019 class. Goodyear, more driven. Tigers certainly not fooled, and the design of that fake field goal was funky, Kirk.
No, not at all. Very, very surprised that Nick Saban and Alabama went with a fake field goal. I mean, it was 4-down territory. Just keep your offense out there and try to execute.
That fumble, you pointed out the 3-yard loss, and Smith, he got it back, but he made it a tough third down. And Alabama wastes a 13-play, 51-yard drive. Lawrence dropped for a loss by Jennings.
We go back. Watch the kicker. See the holder kind of gives the head nod as if they were going to do this. They must have seen the look that they wanted from the sideline, and they yelled out to Jones, go ahead and run it. But Clemson sitting there waiting for that. That play never had a shot.
Again, Jones is the third-string quarterback, but you're using a kicker as a lead blocker into the teeth of that front. And now, short completion. Catching the ball is Amari Rogers, 3rd and long now.
This is where, when you're a championship team, the offense in Tua not quite hitting on all cylinders because of the way Clemson's defending him. This is where Nick Saban, he likes to rely on his defense. The ball's at the Alabama side of this stadium. This defense needs to make a play. They need to try to provide a spark for this Alabama team.
Tide crowd in this end making some noise. And backpedaling, Lawrence flips it open, wide open. Justin Ross off and running. The Alabama native wins the foot race, and Clemson strengthens its grip on this championship game. "74 yards.
Well, the reason Ross is open here on this third down is Savion Smith went down at the line of scrimmage. He jammed him at the line of scrimmage. Justin Ross pushed him. Savion Smith went down, and you can see he's still down. Hopefully he's okay, but there he is. He's jammed up close, gives him a push, and then goes down, loses his footing. And then after this, the move and the yards after the catch by Justin Ross against the safety, Deontay Thompson. Boy, that's a true freshman making that move in the open field. The offensive line doing just enough to keep Quentin Williams and Anthony Jennings out to give Trevor Lawrence a chance to make that throw.
Trevor was stumbling, but he wanted to turn his head quickly because he knew he had a big play. Nothing going right for Saban's defense. So before the PAT, they continue to look at Savion Smith, who is down. Clemson's longest pass play of the season. The lead is 21. Alabama corner Savion Smith, whose stumble created career sailing for Ross, carted off. As Hugel's on for another PAT to try to stretch this to a 22-point margin. Bama used 5 minutes at the start of this half and came up empty after the 13-play drive, and Lawrence strikes quickly to build the lead. Serious urgency now for Tua and the Tide. Clemson's last 4 possessions, Kirk, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, and they scored 5 of their last 6 possessions.
What a difference a year makes.
Another doink. Dueling missed PATs, except Hugel is reliable. Just the second one he's missed this season.
Let's go back to the touchdown with Savion Smith falling at the line of scrimmage far right. Third down, and you have a freshman wide receiver. Savion Smith right at the line. You know, he's trying to jam, goes down. We don't know what the injury is, but right there, Deontay Thompson's got to be able to make that play and give Clemson a first down, but not this. He slips, loses his footing, and that gives you an idea what kind of speed Justin Ross has at 6'4", 210, gets off of that press coverage, makes the catch. Trevor Lawrence looking at him the whole way. He knew he was going to go to Ross. He ended up seeing him wide open, and Ross does the rest after the catch.
Lawrence, pretty calm reaction. 23 unanswered points for Clemson. They missed the PAT. It's a doink for each kicker after the double doink that decided the Eagles-Bears playoff game yesterday.
You try that 100 times, you couldn't do that.
Justin Ross showing why his mom and his high school coach flatly refused to allow him to quit football. He wouldn't have any fun. He was a freshman playing with a varsity because he's that good, but his buddies were on the JV and he wanted to quit every single day. Mom took away the cell phone. His coach just locked him in the office, put his arms across his chest, said, "Son, you got a special gift. You are not going to quit football. You're going to make a name for yourself in this sport." And he has in his freshman season. Jacobs out near the 30 as we check in with Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, the message from Dabo Swinney in the locker room was twofold. We need to stop the run. That will be the key to controlling things here in the second half. But more importantly, the score is 0-0. It's something that he said during the last injury timeout as well, imploring his team to play with the same aggression, the same attitude, and treat this game as if it has just started on the scoreboard, even though they're a quarter and a half away, Chris, from winning.
Well, Tom, they're leading 6-0 in the second half. Two-back look. Can they stick with the running game, which has been productive, or now? Well, there's your answer, Kirk. They hand it off to Najee Harris, who gets 11 more, but the deficit is now 21.
Yeah, and obviously with 8.5 to go, a little under 8.5 to go here in the third quarter, this is not the time. This offense has played with a tremendous amount of confidence all year, and it's been a balanced attack. You can't just abort the running game and just start throwing it all over the place, especially against Clemson's defensive line and their pass rush.
Tide have run it for 157. Tigers just 25. It's Jacobs in motion. Tua looked that way. Now fires down the middle, and it's caught by Smith inside the 40.
Great job by Tua, moving the safety with his eyes. Watch him move the safety in the middle of the field. Right back in the middle. He moves him by looking to the right, opens up the middle of the field by using his eyes to kind of play with Wallace, the safety number 12, moved him just enough to come back and make that throw to Devontae Smith.
Who has been the top target tonight for Tua, 6 catches. Najee Harris tried to bounce it, just ran into traffic, and Tanner Muse knocked him down along with Wilkins.
That was a much better job by Clemson, not giving him anywhere to be able to find that crease. Christian Wilkins is having a big night, and I think right now really starting to feel that this team, this defensive line came back for this moment. They wanted to come back and have a chance to win a national championship, and up by 21, Christian Wilkins right now is feeling it.
2nd and 11. Tagovailoa rolls away from the pressure and fires. Beautiful catch. Adjustment by Jacobs, and they're down in the red zone. Wow.
One-on-one, scramble drill. Tua finds Josh Jacobs with Trey Lamar, who's 255 pounds as a linebacker, never got his head turned to find the ball. Good job of improvising by Tua, and a heads-up play by Josh Jacobs to take off, seeing the one-on-one matchup that he had with the bigger linebacker Lamar.
Tremendous multi-purpose back. That's why you think he's headed for success on Sundays. Big time. Got 16 that time. They fake it to him. Slant. They're all over it. Jalen Waddle, a speedy guy, corralled quickly by Wallace.
Very surprised that Tua has not taken shots with his receivers against the corners. They've been doing most of their work in the middle. Very little success trying to go after the corners of Clemson. And Clemson has very long, athletic corners, but because Alabama's had so many games where that's been a home run for them, even last week against Oklahoma, they've not had any success yet tonight.
Play action across the middle. It's too high and off the hand of Henry Ruggs. Trayvon Mullen, corner who we saw hobbled earlier in this half here, not on the field right now, Kirk.
Yeah, he had this. Just misses the touchdown to Ruggs. And with double slants, if he would have paused just a second and seen Waddle behind him, he would have easily had a touchdown.
Yet another 3rd down play. They need 4.
Clemson's going to call a timeout.
2nd time tonight. The Tigers have spent the timeout on defense, but this is a crucial sequence for Alabama. Urgency. 2 plays to get 4 yards when you come back. Midway 3rd quarter, and a crucial possession for Tagovailoa and the Tide offense, down by 3 scores. They need 4 yards. Very, very unlikely they would try a field goal or fake it again.
No, obviously they need a touchdown. They've got 2 plays here to pick up this 1st down.
Trayvon Mullen trying to hydrate, trying to deal with cramps on the sideline, according to our Tom Rinaldi. He's not in the game. Jacobs is the back. 3 receiver look. And Tagovailoa fires far side, inaccurate throw. Judy claiming he was held out of the break by Terrell. No flag, and now another crucial 4th down.
Yeah, it was early in the route. I think he grabbed a hold of him. Watch 8 right there. Grabs the jersey, without a doubt, both hands. Grabbed the jersey in the front, grabbed the jersey in the back, right in front of Nick Saban in Alabama. Could not believe that a couple of those officials right in front of him didn't see it. Should be a 1st down for Alabama.
Instead, a humongous play midway 3rd. There's 3 or 4 so far on 4th down. Big field goal counts in that. Tua, they pick up the blitz. Can he scramble for it? Got a ways to go. Makes a cut. Shows the toughness. The spot will decide it. Maybe just short. The Tigers have held as Tagovailoa tried to weave his way through heavy traffic, and Tanner Muse stopped him.
Well, this time Alabama picked up the blitz, but he is going to be short. Good coverage downfield. He's going to try to, as you said, Chris, that second, third effort trying to reach, but a big hit by Tanner Muse right at the end prevents him from being able to reach out and make that first down. Terrell came on the blitz, picked up by Josh Jacobs, but nobody to throw the ball to. And again, you've got to give Brent Venables and this Clemson defense a lot of credit for dialing up the right pressures at the right time.
Talked to Muse the other day. He's a safety that loves the run support Phil. In coverage, he's not the greatest guy. He knows that. But that kind of play, stepping up, making a big hit in the quarterback to get your offense the football back in a championship game, huge. So both Bama drives in the second half, Kirk, turnover on downs.
Yeah, last two times Alabama's had the ball deep into Clemson territory. Obviously down like this, they're thinking about coming up with a touchdown. See the corner blitz from the left. Josh Jacobs picks him up. Christian Wilkins being able to penetrate two offensive linemen, forces Tua out of the pocket. And because they're sitting back in zone with those safeties, able to come down and keep Tua short of the first.
They've used more than 8 minutes of clock time on those two empty drives. And now Lawrence working the sideline, and Terrell and coming back to make the catch is DeAndre Overton, first down.
Perfectly thrown ball. Trevor Lawrence to the far left there. Last week, what hurt Alabama late in that game against Oklahoma and Kyler Murray was CeeDee Lamb. That back shoulder fade against Surtain. They looked at that film, and they went right after him there to pick up that first down.
ETN swarmed early by Jennings, and they clean it up. Raekwon Davis makes the tackle. If we know Dabo Swinney and Tony Elliott, Jeff Scott, they're aggressive. They're going to stay aggressive with the lead. Can't expect them to throttle way back here.
No, I don't think they will. They have too much respect for Alabama and what Alabama can do. Tony Elliott right there in the middle, the co-offensive coordinator. How about that location of that back shoulder fade by Trevor Lawrence? Throws that ball well before Overton was expecting the ball, where Surtain could not make a play on it.
Trevor a little hyped up early, some incompletions. Dabo pointed out that he missed a couple passes, but he's created some big plays through the air tonight. Misses Ross that time. That's 15 years. Two guys who have been #1 rated prospect at Bama have left the state. Jameis Winston and Ross. They don't get away often.
What a difference a year makes in the Clemson passing game. Remember this game last year?
Sure.
Clemson couldn't throw the ball at all. I think they threw for about 124 yards last year.
Nothing downfield at all.
Nothing downfield. Sacked 5 times. They couldn't get the ball downfield. What a different story this year.
3rd and 13. Lawrence just launches. Freshman versus freshman. And Ross makes a catch on the far sideline. A brilliant juggling catch as he beat Josh Jobe.
How about the touch on this throw? Going up against Jobe, who's an incredibly talented true freshman, hasn't played a lot of ball, pretty good coverage, but the location of the ball up and over the shoulder of Jobe, and there's the focus by the freshman Ross to haul that in for a big play for the Clemson offense.
Got 37 on that 3rd and long. Look out.
Just talked about their vertical passing game, having it this year, missing it last year, the difference in this offense.
Renfro in motion. A handoff instead up the middle to Adam Choice. See where Lawrence has distributed the football to pass chart. It's a lot to look at, Kirk, but take us through this.
Yeah, I mean, so far he's 16 of 26, 324 yards. But what I want to talk about, the difference is this year, 1 of 3, 2 of 2, 4 of 5. He has 5 pass completions tonight of 25 yards or longer in this game. Has not been sacked. They haven't pressured him. And when you have to respect that aspect of the game, it opens up, obviously, the short passing game and also a running game if you need it.
Ross again, and Tide, the ball comes out, and they rule it a fumble, and the Tide have taken it away. Isaiah Buggs and Raekwon Davis were there. They'll take another look. Davis had the football.
It's a matter, did the ground cause that fumble? Alabama hoping for a break here. He extended himself, and I don't know if the ball came out before, but I thought the ground may have caused it. He's trying to work. Watch the ball. Yeah, I think he's down.
Yeah, his hip hit the ground as the ball hit the ground. Just a split second before, right there.
Yeah, he's down.
Bring in Dave Kataya just for confirmation, Dave, of what we're seeing as they review it.
I'm seeing what you guys see. You see that knee down before the ball comes out. And even though the arm hits, the ball comes out after the arm. In both cases, he's down.
Alabama fans just bemoaning the fact that Ross got away. There's been so much turnover in the Crimson Tide staff. Last 5 years, 20 different coaches. Clemson, 3 coaches have left in that same time, and that continuity in the staff and the lack of it for Saban is a problem. You talk to Ross. He was very interested in going to the Tide, but the position coaches have come and gone. He didn't feel like he could feel confident that the coaches would be there.
Yeah, and I think also to credit Clemson, I think when he went on his visit, he felt something a little bit different there.
Right.
I think it surprised him, and I think he was, once he got on that campus and felt that culture, I think he was really intrigued by what Clemson has to offer. And I think at that point it was obvious he wanted to go to Clemson. There's only been a couple players from the state of Alabama that are considered the best players to leave that state. Jameis Winston being one of them, and Justin Ross.
If we expect replay to reverse that call of a lost fumble, it'd be about a 3rd and 8 at the 36 for Clemson.
Nick Saban talked about how they got to play better third down defense when he walked off the field, telling Maria Taylor we got to be better. Clemson 6 of 9 on third down.
After review, the runner was down before he lost control of the ball. It would be 3rd down and 9 at the 37-yard line. Clock will start on my ready for play.
So the Tigers converting, Kirk, double the percentage of other Alabama opponents this year on third down. You go more than 21 down. I know you got Tua, you got all those weapons.
Can they get after Trevor Lawrence? Can they affect him? Something that's been a problem here on third down without Christian Miller. Keep talking about how Dylan Moses, you'll see him on the right side of the defense lined up, trying to help, trying to get a pass rush in.
Yeah, 45 sacks on the season for the Tide, 0 tonight. They bring 5. Lawrence picks up the blitz, delivers, and is that another circus catch by Ross? Wow! Humongous play by the freshman.
Well, a great throw and an unbelievable right-handed catch. Are you kidding me? A palm, and then he gets the right foot down. That's as good of a catch as you're going to see. By the way, Trevor Lawrence makes that play on third down, throws it, and just hopes it's going to be good enough for Ross to have a chance. He got leveled as soon as he threw that ball. That's big time.
Saban jogs down and makes a case to the officials, and Bama will spend a timeout on defense. Last thing you want to do, 21 down, is burn a timeout on defense, but he's got to get his guys regrouped.
No question about it. I want to go back to a great catch, but I love to see a young quarterback. Look at his eyes. He knows where he's going to go. Watch how he keeps his eyes downfield. Here comes Bugs. Boom. Moses coming in. As soon as he threw that ball, he felt 300 pounds closing in on him. Didn't affect him at all. Kept his eyes, takes the hit, and gives Ross a chance to make that play downfield.
Justin Ross at 6'4", long arm. What's his catch rate? He's about 12 feet?
Yeah. I mean, that was beautiful. Up in the air, right hand, right foot.
And a kid who's 19 years old, was in high school a year ago, is taking Alabama's defense to school and smiling about it on the sidelines. Look, there's work to be done. It takes a lot to finish off the Tide, but Bama's 2 possessions in the third quarter have produced some yards, but no points. 2 stops on downs. And Clemson, if they get this to 28, I know 2 is good, but it's deep trouble.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Was a catch, first down Clemson.
There was no doubt about that. Ross said, I had that all the way. You leave the state, Kirk, and you get to hear from the folks back home. Justin says there's people in his family rooting for Alabama tonight. Not immediate family, but extended family.
How about 6 receptions on the 153 yards and a touchdown for the freshman?
You got bragging rights when you go home off a performance like this if the Tigers can finish the job. Black running again. Etienne gets a block and makes a cut down right near the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Clemson.
You know, you think about your defender, and Lawrence is back there throwing the ball. He's 342 yards, throwing, and just when you start to get caught up in trying to get a pass rush, here comes Travis Etienne around the corner to keep you honest for some quick yards and a 1st down.
Haven't done much with the running game. It's just been a change of pace. Feaster in on 1st and goal. And they feed Feaster. He knocked down at the 5. Etienne twisting his ankle at the end of that last run. Walks slowly to the sidelines. Yeah, left ankle as he planted it. And looked painful. Travis has run for 2, caught a touchdown pass tonight. Broke a conference record with that touchdown total. It's Feaster to the right of Lawrence. And quarterback faked the pop pass, kept it, and got smacked by Moses.
A lot going on there. The jet sweep, faking that, faking the pitch, and then keeping it. And Alabama staying home. Quentin Williams staying home, leading the way there. Not giving up here, still trying to fight here as the closing seconds to this 3rd quarter.
They've used almost 5 minutes of clock and moved it 84 yards in 11 plays. An effective drive even if they can't find the end zone. 3rd and goal. Lawrence with the rush coming. Finds T. Higgins. Touchdown. There's a flag down. Late hit after the touchdown. This should stand. That kid cannot be 19 years old. Come on. I mean, he looks like a 10-year NFL veteran.
I mean, he looks like he's been there his whole life. Back there taking hits, making throws. And how about these receivers? I mean, Ross has made some at that time. It's T. Higgins going up and making a play.
How about the circus catches this crew has made? If you go back to the Cotton Bowl against Notre Dame, great catch by Higgins in the end zone. There's Mike Cannon with the explanation. It is a touchdown. And a personal foul, late hit after the score.
And we'll go back and take a peek at this, but what made it really stand out was that they went over the top of Mac Wilson. And that's why the ball was a little bit high, and Higgins had to go up and climb the ladder to make that play.
This duel between young quarterback prodigies, controlled by Trevor Lawrence, who checked out that touchdown pass, and the catch when the Jumbotron just said, wow. 347 yards and 3 touchdowns for the true freshman from Cartersville, Georgia. No throttling back in the 3rd quarter. They've added 13 points to the lead.
The route's going to come from your right, and he's going to work towards the back, but I want you to watch Mac Wilson in the middle. They're playing straight up man. Mac Wilson's freelancing. Trevor Lawrence has to make this throw over top of Mac Wilson because of Anthony Jennings coming in. He waited as long as he could until he makes that throw. Higgins on the outside works across from the freshman Job and extends himself at 6'4" to go up and make that play, and that's where the personal foul came in from Job after the catch. Look at this throw over top of Mac Wilson, right into the fingertips of T. Higgins.
Another look from the AT&T pylon cam. Just make plays, have fun. Dabo Swinney's message was pretty simple, and make history, as the Lawrence family loves it.
Oh, it's awesome.
And Nick Saban's defense is being eviscerated.
Keep in mind, I mean, again, we keep saying that Trevor Lawrence is a true freshman. He's playing 2 more years of college football. Can you imagine what he'll look like in 2 years? mentally and physically.
I can't imagine what the other folks in the ACC and around this sport are thinking with the idea of him. And by the way, most of those receivers back too. You got freshmen and sophomores, top 2 quarterbacks, top 2 running backs, 3 of the top 4 wide receivers. They'll lose, of course, Renfro and Trevion Thompson.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. There's people that were frustrated about Alabama and Clemson. These teams aren't going anywhere. Clemson's right there right now with Alabama over these last 4 years.
There's a full 4th quarter to come, but a 4-touchdown deficit. Touchback after the penalty moved the kickoff up near midfield. Our first UFC Fight Night card on ESPN Plus coming up Saturday, January 19th. Main event bout, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Bantamweight champ TJ Dillashaw moving down in weights. Henry Cejudo is the opponent. Start your free trial today by downloading the ESPN app. There's 21 seconds and then a quarter to go. What can Tua do to begin to chip away at this lead? 2 touchdowns and also those 2 interceptions that were cashed in by the Tigers. It's a deep shot for Smith. He's well guarded, and that was overthrown. Miles Pinckney, another backup defensive lineman, pressured him.
And Tua got hit there after he threw that ball. As soon as he let go of it, Miles Pinckney hit him and buried him into the ground. Tua got up from it, but it was probably the biggest hit he's taken all night. Remember, Dexter Lawrence out, Albert Huggins, Niles Pinckney rotating in that defensive tackle spot opposite of Christian Wilkins.
And it's batted down at the line. Kendall Joseph was there. Muse may have gotten the hand up. It'll be 3rd and 10.
I think everybody may be visiting Brent Venables from the SEC in the offseason, asking him about how do you stop Tua? Because the players are making plays, but I'm going to tell you, they're in position to make plays thanks to this plan that Brent Venables has put together. He's waiting until the last second on a lot of his blitzes. He's mixing up coverages. He's making Tua, I've never seen it all year, where he's uncomfortable the entire game like this. There may be a series or 2, but not an entire game.
Tagovailoa has time and now is flushed on 3rd and 10. And takes a shot for Judy downfield, who's got it. Somehow, to let the top receiver get behind him. Terrell makes the tackle on the final play of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that's just Tua making a play and improvising, buying enough time, and Jerry Jeudy not giving up on the play. 4, who's right there. Good coverage by Clemson. You could see he was open there, but Tua's looking to the other side. And this is where he starts to scramble. Jeudy read the eyes. Tua kind of gave him the look like, keep going, and he eventually makes the play.
Final quarter coming up. 30 unanswered points by Clemson. The College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T on ESPN. Welcome back for the 4th quarter. College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Clemson Tigers have 15 minutes to protect a 4-touchdown lead to secure their 2nd national title in the last 3 years. After a 48-yard play to end the 3rd quarter. Can the Tide chip away quickly here in the 4th? Tagovailoa steps up, tries to get it to Smith, and it's broken up by Terrell, who began this night, or excuse me, Fields. He says,
Going to sleep.
Going to sleep over there?
By the way, he has stepped in admirably to come up and make some plays. That ball's caught until Fields gets his right hand in to knock that ball away. He stepped in for Terrell and is playing incredibly well.
Got Trayvon Mullen over there with a cramp. 2 jumping into the fray. He is a senior in his last go-around, part of this decorated and accomplished senior class. No pressure this time. And a long delivery on the sidelines to Waddle, who's muscled out, but it's 1st and goal.
Actually, a little mix-up, one of the few mistakes we've seen from Clemson. Watch this on coverage. Couple guys take Devontae Smith. Tua recognized it right at the line of scrimmage, just waited until there was separation from Waddle where he got out and be able to pick up some big yards. Alabama needs a little bit of urgency, not just trying to get a touchdown, but they need to move a little bit quicker.
No doubt. They cannot afford to spend time, even as they try to cut into this 4-touchdown lead.
Devontae Smith wanted Waddle away from him. Create one-on-one chance.
Harris out of the backfield makes the grab, turns the corner, can't quite tightrope inside the pylon. Xavier Thomas, big defensive end, was in coverage. They'll spot the ball at the 1.
And Damian Harris trying to extend the ball, stay in bounds. He's just pushed, just barely out of bounds here as he tried to extend it by Thomas. At least he did go out of bounds to stop the clock for a moment.
3 tight ends for the Tide. Matt Womack in as a bonus offensive lineman. It has not been easy down here against the Tigers tonight. Damian Harris fighting, but not getting there.
Boy, Kendall Joseph filled that hole beautifully. The middle linebacker, that's what you're supposed to do. Down near the goal line, 34. Everybody else has a hat on a hat. 34 right there, able to make that play against a physical runner in Damian Harris. And the best part about that for Clemson is that clock keeps churning.
That battle of 34 is won by the guy in the white jersey. Pure power formation. The tight end, Smith, lined up at fullback. Damian Harris knocked down. Great penetration by Christian Wilkins. Nothing coming easy.
Well, they are not giving up an inch. You want to see why Christian Wilkins is an All-American? Watch how quick he is and watch the awareness to know where this ball is. He's fighting through that right guard, Leatherwood, and comes up and submarines Damian Harris. He didn't even know what hit him. These guys have waited to get to this moment. After losing to Alabama last year, all of them wanted to come back for a chance at Alabama and a chance to win a national title.
It's just about ball game. If they can keep the Tide out of the end zone. 4th down 4 scores. Tagovailoa trying to run, ain't gonna get there. Chased down by Clelin Ferrell, and the Tigers begin to celebrate.
Hey man, how about that defense? How about that Clemson defense? Stepping up again when Alabama has had the ball down into that red zone area, unable to come away with any points. It's the 4th time inside the red zone, only 1 touchdown for Alabama.
It has been a total team performance. Young quarterback, playmaking wide receivers, and nasty defense, keeping the Tide out of the end zone again. Clemson takes over, 12-17 away from another championship. Something you have never seen in Nick Saban's Alabama career. His Crimson Tide team being routed. 0 for 3 on 4th down. Interesting call as the Tigers had to chew on some clock. Tua Tagovailoa and Mike Locksley electing a quarterback run there. 3 turnovers on downs. The fake field goal didn't work at all. And that stout Tigers red zone defense doing its job.
Yeah, playing with a lot of pride down in there, not giving up on any series. And Tua in this offense obviously frustrated. What a plan put together and the way they're executing on this Clemson defense tonight.
Is that just evidence, Kirk, that Mike Locksley, he's trying, but he's sort of run out of answers down there.
Yeah.
Using power formations. That was a 3-receiver set, and Tua running to the boundary.
Yeah, that was surprising to see that call. Got to throw it.
Using almost all of the play clock, but throwing, and Lawrence just slinging it. Why not? You're feeling it. Going to get the ball to Darian Kendrick. It does stop the clock.
Had a big hole there behind the corner in front of the safety. Just missed him. You said it earlier that, you know, Clemson's not going to stop being aggressive. And at this point now, on 3rd down and long, it's deep inside their own territory. They also want to be smart.
Expect a run here on 3rd and long.
The way they believe in 16, you never know.
You know, the Tide have not been able to anticipate what to expect from this offense tonight. Adam Choice in there to block, and they just fling it. Why not throw it to Justin Ross? He juggled that one. Joe was in coverage, incomplete, and the punt team comes out.
Yeah, he had it. I mean, you wondered, are they going to throw it? They're going to take a chance and give him a chance to play. True freshman on true freshman. Ball is perfectly thrown, and I think Joe in his long arms got in there and pulled that ball away from Ross, who had it. Yeah, he did.
Pay attention. Our buddy Steve Levy on the sidelines got run into by the receiver out of bounds there. Gotta have your head on a swivel. You're going to sit ringside. Well, Waddle tries to make a play. Special teams have played a big role in these previous games. Not so far tonight in a positive way. Spires moves around, tries to kick it away from Waddle. He's going to let it bounce 3 times, and he stumbled. Just had to get out of the way, and it will roll dead on Bama's side of the field with 11-12 to play in round 4 of this rivalry.
The College Football Playoff National Championship Game is presented by AT&T. More for your thing. That's our thing. And in part by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And Dos Equis. Keep it interessante. Please enjoy Dos Equis responsibly.
Interesting looks here in Santa Clara tonight, and the folks in orange are all smiles. For this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. Tide and the football back. They have not been able to score in the second half here, and after the first quarter, only a field goal as Jalen Hurts comes off the bench. These two have finished. You took a quick look at that hand, or is this just to let him catch his breath and give Jalen Hurts a chance to spark this team?
Now, I think Jalen will more than likely finish it off. It's just been a rough night for Tua and the Alabama offense. Why not give Jalen Hurts, after everything he's been through, give him 11 minutes to play football here?
Against Georgia, engineered 2 touchdown drives. That dramatic comeback after Tagovailoa was finally forced from the game. Had a touchdown pass, had a touchdown run to eventually win it. An incredible Hollywood-like script unfolding in the same building where he was pulled at the halftime of last year's championship game.
Yeah, I mean, the way he stepped up and played in that game against Georgia said a lot about his maturity and his approach and the way he delivered for his teammates.
And he's going to be corralled by Wilkins and sacked back inside the 45.
Yeah, that ball came out. Alabama got on top of it, but he's looking at, remember, this is the area that he's trying to grow. Look at Christian Wilkins, by the way. He's being held. There's 2 offensive linemen trying to keep him out. You see the ball out. Christian Wilkins, by the way, when you come back for a reason and it's a reality right in front of your eyes, you're not going to let up. Whether you're down 40 or up 40, you're just going to keep going. And if you want to watch a guy, watch 42 in the middle.
You're right, though. That was the second fumble by a Tide quarterback that the offensive line recovered. 3rd and 14, low snap. Hurts scrambling for his life, turns and makes a throw. It's low and incomplete. Ruggs couldn't get down and get it. Terrell in coverage, 4th and 14.
You know, we put a lot on Tua tonight, but I think you also have to put a lot on the offensive line. That was a bear look, meaning that they covered up the center and the 2 guards. And Brent Venables has unloaded everything in his arsenal to try to confuse the Alabama offensive line, and has done a great job of it. Again, as soon as Jalen Hurts gets the ball, he's running out of there because of the confusion up front.
Venables in our meeting, Kirk, he compared the challenge of stopping Bama to those USC offenses back in 04-05. He's with Oklahoma, and the Trojans gave him a long night that time. Much better result for Venables tonight, would you say? You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship Game presented by AT&T. 10:02 to play. Well, Clemson closing in on their 3rd national championship in the Poll era. Dabo Swinney can win his 2nd title before his 50th birthday. And he'll join Saban as the only two active coaches with multiple championships. But the first title victory a couple of years ago, it was achieved in a narrow win, come from behind with 1 second to go. This is like a knockout in round 4 of this matchup. 10:02 to play. Tigers are pinned way back. Ball half-yard line. Etienne has only been tackled behind the line for 11 yards lost all season long. Blues out. Capital and rewarding performance, Kurt.
Yep, Trevor Lawrence has been on tonight. The true freshman, 19 of 31, making great reads, toughness, being able to throw with accuracy over top of that corner in front of the safety. There's the toughness over top of Mac Wilson. A little bit of everything. Also has thrown 19 passes, 8 different receivers on those completions.
At least 2 more years for this quarterback. At least 2 more years for Justin Ross, his top target tonight. Etienne is a sophomore. Keeper. And he shows the toughness again. Just a late slide before McKinney got him.
Yeah, Dabo Sweeney's excited about this team, even though you're going to lose some great players on that defensive line. See the 19 of 31, mentioned how he's hit 8 different wide receivers.
He shows up as a 9th grader because Brandon Streeter and Jeff Scott begged Dabo to visit with him. And I said, I don't offer 9th graders. Please, coach, everybody's offering him. Take a meeting. And he talked to him, and he still wouldn't offer him a scholarship, would he? He doesn't do that.
Jeff Scott said he and Brandon Streeter are looking at each other in the room, like waiting for him to offer, and he said, I'm not going to offer you today. And that, by the way, impressed Trevor Lawrence and his parents more than anything in the recruiting process.
In this 3rd and 1, Etienne's going to get it. Yeah, he felt very much at home. He said this week that faith is as important to him as anything. There you see his family. Football doesn't define him. His life's not going to be geared around a scoreboard. I don't think he found a kindred spirit in Dabo Sweeney in that regard.
Yeah, without a doubt, I think that's a big part of what he found. I keep talking about the culture at Clemson, and that's a big part of it. Dabo Sweeney has really built his program in a very different way from many of the programs around the country, and I think players gravitate towards that. They want to be a part of it.
You can have fun and win championships. There's a lot to offer. Etienne bouncing around, pinballing, but can't escape heavy traffic.
You know, Dabo Sweeney has a saying, serve their hearts, not their talents. And I think a lot of players, they really feel that. I mean, he's tough on them. He played for Gene Stallings. He pulled out a pretty good impression of Gene Stallings at our meeting the other day. But
Dabo won't give you a chance to coach.
Yeah.
I'll pay you $36,000 a year, right?
He makes a lot more than that now, but money was never the motivation for him. Just really loves being a teacher of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason I bring up that Gene Stallings is Gene Stallings was a tough coach. Played for Bear Bryant, was around Bear Bryant. But Dabo does it in his own way. He's tough, but he also loves on him.
Etienne out of the 2-back look. Makes a cut. Etienne in the clear. And finally, as they close in and run him out in Tide territory, Dylan Moses saved the touchdown.
Yeah, what great vision by Etienne. Play is designed up the middle. He sees grass to the left, bounces outside. Boy, poor effort there by Isaiah Buggs. He's either tired or injured, but inexcusable there. He just bounced right, walked right around Isaiah Buggs, and was able to pick up huge yards into that secondary.
Now, we have seen Alabama bully people for a decade. You're sensing a little capitulation in the Crimson Tide right now. Feaster knocked down. Dabo Sweeney was a walk-on wide receiver. Grew up in Alabama. Made a couple of catches. Excellent high fiver. You can see the enthusiasm even as a young player. Watch this next one. Makes the catch, takes a hit. Looking for somebody to high five. There you go.
Love it.
Then he was hired, as you said, by Stallings as his assistant. Saban offered him a job. When he first got to Alabama, this was not a Crimson Tide juggernaut. Dabo had to listen to great coach respectfully, but would not be on this career path if he hadn't trusted his gut. You say to Clemson.
I think it's worked out pretty well for him.
TJ Chase gets a touch, and there's a long history. Frank Howard, the man who first built Clemson's program. Danny Ford won a championship in '81, the only championship for the school before Sweeney arrived. Got 3 assistants, also Alabama grads on the staff.
I think it's time for people around the country, if you haven't yet, respected that Paul, this Clemson Tiger program, as being the upper tier. His senior class are 55-4, 2 national championships. Made the playoffs every year. I mean, this program has not only arrived, they've been around for a while.
But especially it's been the last 4 years, as Lawrence just shows more toughness. He's not backing down at all. They're up 4 scores, and the freshman's still in there colliding with defenders. Another first down.
And Clemson's not letting up. Alabama, I think, defeated mentally, not just physically. And Trevor Lawrence is saying, if you're not going to tackle, I'll run right over top of you. To me, when Clemson's program changed and went to a different level with 2012, when they played a good LSU team in a bowl game, in a Peach Bowl, and beat them on a last-second field goal, from that point on, they've become a different program at a whole different level. I think the next year they won the ACC championship.
Giving the veteran backs a chance. Adam Choice and Tavian Feaster are in the game. The other side of this is that Alabama unthinkably has been crushed. Did you ever think you'd see a Nick Saban team beaten down like this in a championship game?
I don't think anybody watching right now ever expects an Alabama team to lose 44-16. It's a knockout punch. I said at a break, it almost gives you that feeling when Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in the way when he went down. You just remembered it because you were so surprised. You know, people thought Clemson could win tonight, but in a potential shootout in a close game, not a blowout.
It's Will Sweeney, the coach's son, who came in motion, but Lawrence is just keeping the football. And he's still willing to take a beating to move the sticks yet again.
Again, he's 6'6", 215. I mean, you better tackle him. And he's running with some confidence right now. So he's 20 of 32 for 347 yards.
Curtain call for the O-line.
Yeah, absolutely. How about that?
Mitch Hyatt, the senior's 57 start. That's a Clemson record. Big bear hug from Gage Cervenka, who'll be the center next year. Going to have 4 senior offensive linemen and a very talented, who'll be a sophomore, Jackson Carman. Those will be the guys in front of Lawrence and all those young playmakers next year.
Love how he pulled them off, almost as you said, give him a curtain call. And now Clemson's going to call a timeout and get as many reserves in as they can.
The Tide faithful have headed for the exits. Clemson folks partying 2:45 away from a title. Ford postgame show, 2 minutes and 45 seconds away, and what a scene. Big tough guy, Christian Wilkins, one of the rare Northerners on this team, comes from Massachusetts, came back hoping for this moment.
Well, that's what it's about right there, the emotions. You make a decision and pass on the NFL to come back and chase a dream with your brothers. That's what it's about when it's realized. Great to see Christian Wilkins and this defense and this whole team climb that mountain and win it all.
Curtain call for the whole offense as Chase Bryce is in to mop up. Renfro will wrap up his Clemson career on the soft side of a big tough guy.
And that is what it's all about.
Hey man, careers don't get any better than that. 4 ACC titles, 2 national championships. The Campbell Award is the top scholar athlete, had at least a 3.0 in every semester of his college career.
By the way, cool that Chase Bryce gets a chance to finish this game off. Go back to that Syracuse game. We talked about the mayhem moment for Clemson. Cool for him to get some reps here in the national championship after what he did that day against Syracuse.
Yeah, it was Lawrence who'd been knocked from the game. They were behind. And it was that 94-yard drive, mostly done on the ground. Etienne eventually scored, but Bryce had to deliver a 4th down throw that you talked about earlier. And you do all the preparation so you can be ready when your moment arrives. That's part of the football culture at Clemson as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He stepped in that day, and not a whole lot of people knew much about him, and he stepped up and made those plays. You can see Christian Wilkins, man. It's almost like a year's worth of emotion that he's letting out right now.
The night is Clemson's, but the other side of the coin is Bama's collapse. Couldn't do anything after halftime as Clemson just added to the lead. This drive, by the way, began at the 1-yard line. So where does Saban and the Tide go from here? Tua obviously back again.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to use this as motivation going into the offseason. And it's a team that will come back with a lot of key pieces. I'm going to tell you, there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to study Brent Venables' scheme and what they did in the offseason. And not everybody has the talent that Clemson has, but you can come up with some of the scheme. Brent Venables should get a game ball. We're talking about all these players. Dabo deserves it, but boy, that defense came prepared and outplayed Alabama for 60 minutes.
There's a reason why Venables makes more than $2 million a year, and he's showing you that tonight. One more 1st down, and this will end deep in Tide territory with very likely a victory formation and a 55th win for this Clemson senior class. The Tigers reclaim their crown by crushing Alabama. Delirium on the Clemson side as the challengers dethrone the champs. Stunned Bama players, humbled tonight here in California.